So as we enter the uncommon stage, it's worth a mention, a reiteration that we have two ratings for figures. There's competitive and casual. Of course, a competitive figure has its place in the competitive meta, whereas a casual figure has its place in the table game. No figure is completely useless except for the common green goblin. F that guy. I can't believe they made that figure. All things considered, just remember that going into this. As well, you'll hear me mention such things as future meta or wait for the rotation. At the time of the filming of the episode, check this date, the newest or the oldest set legal and modern is the Flash. So as we get into the next set of rotation, we're going to see a large amount of figures exit the rotation of modern and no longer be considered part of the competitive game. So when I'm saying check post rotation, that figure may be good, just doesn't fall into the competitive game as is structured right now. I just wanted to mention that as we get into the uncommons. Let's go into the uncommons now. All right. So first up, figure number 017 or 17, the Scarlet Spider. He's got the Call in the Spider-Verse trait, and he's got the impact webbing. When Scarlet Spider makes a range attack, choose one for each hit target, give that character an action token, or that character can't be moved or placed until your next turn. He's got the new Warriors Spider-Man family keywords. He ignores elevated, hindering, and outdoor blocking for movement purposes. He's got 4 range, 2 targets, and a Spider-Man team ability. So if we look at this dial, it's an all-right at best dial. As far as a competitive play, we're probably looking at one of those table game casual characters, mostly because those 9 attacks are very frightening to come across, especially when you're dealing with an 80-point figure and with what exists out there in the game. Alright, next figure 018 or figure 18, Toxin. Has the alien symbiote trait, which you're going to see on a couple other characters. Toxin can use plasticity and shape change and automatically breaks away. Everything else is non-special. Which is what we kind of have to say about Toxin. He also has the PD team ability. He's 80 points with 0 range. Overall, he's another casual character. He's got a really good set of numbers on this dial, and he does a lot of really cool stuff. If you're going to see him anywhere, it might be in the limited format, mostly because his point value with this dial is actually pretty reasonable. So that's Toxin. Next, we move to Mary Jane. Mary Jane, One Moment in Time. Adjacent friendly characters named Spider-Man modify their attack values by +1 and can use the carry ability, but only to carry Mary Jane. Other than that, she's got combat reflexes and perplex for 25 points. This is probably going to find her way into the limited format at best, and that'll be backing up probably a much stronger Spider-Man. But she does have a small place in the possible limited competitive play. Next, Silk. She's got the Call in Spider-Verse trait, and then she's got the Spider-Man family keywords. Mary Jane had Spider-Man family as well, and Celebrity, I believe. Yeah. So, Silk has the Spider-Man family keyword. That's about it. The Call in Spider-Verse trait, Thin Finger Webs. She can use Incapacity when she does. She can use it normally, or she can use it as if she had triple targets. If you see, she's only got 1 target with 5 range. But she doesn't give an action token to characters with 0 action tokens. So this is one of those things where you're going to force a push on multiple characters. You can probably pull it off pretty good too. And then she's got precognitive spider senses. She can use probability control, and during an opponent's turn, she can use probability control to reroll her super senses instead of making an opponent's roll. For 70 points, not a bad little package. She adds some harassment to a team, and she has a wild card as well. So she definitely has her place in the limited format. Plus that late regen could definitely add to her irritation factor on a 70-point figure. So probably competitively limited, but not too bad overall. Next up, Nightwatch. Marvel Spawn, as it were. The cape protects me is his trait. Along, he also ignores elevated inhibitor for movement, maximum carnage, future, and scientist keywords. Nightwatch can use plasticity. After clearing action tokens, choose an edge of the square that he occupies. Lines of fire drawn to him that cross that edge are blocked until your next turn. And then this special damage power, it moves as if it's part of me. Nightwatch can use Perplex, but only to target himself. He has that on his first 3 clicks with some pretty reasonable stats. He's probably one of the tougher characters in the set, which is really cool in the 85-point slot. As far as competitive play, I see him as casual as much as I really want him to be a lot better. He doesn't fit into the grander competitive scale for me. Although, again, how can you argue with how cool this guy looks? Alright, so next up we have the Death Adder. This is figure 22. He's the Serpent Society and Assassin keywords. He's got the sneak attack trait. He's got this other one, Silent Stalker. He can use stealth, and when Death Adder occupies water terrain, lines of fire to him can't be drawn by non-adjacent opposing characters. And he's got a special attack power, claws and tail, spikes and poison. Death Adder can use blades, claws, fangs, poison, and giant reach 2. Damage dealt by Death Adder to characters 100 points or less can't be reduced below 1. So precision strike, light precision strike for low point characters. And this is the dial that you're looking at to go with that. Now, you're probably going to be using blades almost the entire time. I mean, he's got that giant reach on the first 2 and the last click. And for 60 points is a pretty good package that could probably be snuck into a pretty decent limited team, though I don't see him in high-level competitive, but he is a very another figure that definitely fits in the casual, will be good in your casual team with your other Serpent Society characters. So next up, every fan favorite, Venom. Sinister Syndicate, Brute, Monster, Reporter keywords for range. He ignores elevated terrain for movement. He's got the Alien Symbiote trait and this other trait, tasty. When an opposing character takes 3 or more damage from one of Venom's attacks, after actions resolve, heal Venom 1 click. And then he's got a special defense power. You can't spell team without EAT. Venom can use defend and toughness. At the beginning of your turn, you may deal an adjacent friendly character 1 unavoidable damage to heal Venom 1 click. And as you can see, he's got that on his middle 3 dials, so you can get the second click very easily using that special defense power. You can keep him on the first click with his special attack power or with his special trait, because he starts with an exploit weakness on those clicks, and you can probably get the 3 damage off on these blades, claws, fangs as well. He's indomitable, a pretty reasonable 125 points when you look at the full package. And the Sinister Syndicate team ability to boot with all the wild cards that are coming out. He could have his place probably in the limited and possibly in future competitive play just for his longevity. We do have to see what the tides come with the next set of cuts, though. So that's Venom. Next up, we have his prime counterpart, the Anti-Venom or the Anti-Venom. Alien Symbiote trait as well. I Am the Cure is his other trait. Give Anti-Venom a free action. You may counter a different power on each... a different... Just a reminder that it's a different power on each opposing character within 2 squares and line of fire until your next turn. And he's a very, very what you see is what you get dial. But that's kind of one of the things that comes with primes, is a lot of times their dials are unassuming and they'll always have a trait that makes them stick out, or just makes them a lot better than they actually look. Now, unfortunately, Anti-Venom is not really good enough for the competitive level of play, but he will fit in. He will be really, really strong in casual play as well. He's also got the Monster and Reporter keywords, figure 23B. All right, next up, Cottonmouth. Now, I apologize if you don't like the look of them, but we only got a sketch variant in our cases, and he's not the worst looking sketch variant I've seen. We have Cottonmouth, who has a sneak attack trait. You're big prey, but still prey. Cottonmouth can use blades, claws, fangs, and super strength. If he uses blades, claws, fangs while holding an object, the attack can't be evaded and the object is not removed. And then he's got a special damage power, jaws like a steel trap. Cottonmouth can use exploit weakness. When he does, Cottonmouth modifies his attack value by +1 for each action token on the targeted character. Now, he has a special attack power on his last 3 clicks and the special damage power, which is the exploit weakness on the first 2 clicks. But he does have the potential to do 7, like he's playable at 100 or 60 points. So if you're playing him at 100 points, those first 2 clicks can potentially deal 7 or 6 damage carrying an ultra heavy object, and that'll be penetrating damage. And then on the 60-point dial, you still get a pretty playable character, though the 100-point dial, those 2 extra clicks really go a long way, are almost worth the 40 points. And it really goes well with that sneak attack trait. So I can see his appearance possibly in the limited format, though more likely to see just strictly casual play. Next up, we have the Hobgoblin. He's got the Sinister Syndicate and Soldier keywords, one of my favorites. And he's got a special damage power. Who is the new Hobgoblin? Hobgoblin can use shape change. If he doesn't succeed, placing a identity token on an opposing character's card, removing it from another opposing character's card. When Hobgoblin is the only target of an attack and is hit, you may remove the identity token from an opposing character's card to have that character become the hit target of the attack, even if it would become illegal. And as you can see, he's got that on his first 3 clicks. This is one of those weird things where I can see him in limited, possibly much later on in a post-cut constructed full modern. But this is the thing about him. If this shape change never gets rolled, he is not as good as he sounds. But if you can roll that shape change even once, you have basically protected yourself from the worst possible, or probably the worst attack about to hit you, or you've just made your opponent go into Sophie's Choice and possibly die. He also starts with a Precision Strike and Psychic Blast with some Perplex. So overall, he's a character I can see finding his way into competitive play. Full competitive, much later on. The more limited competitive, probably sooner rather than later. Next up, the Jackal. Now the Jackal is the master of cloning. Jackal can use shape change in the beginning of the game. Roll a d6 and subtract 3, minimum 1. Place a number of clone tokens equal to the result on Jackal's card. When Jackal would be KO'd, remove a clone token and place him in any starting area. On click 4. He's got a special damage power where he gets Outwit and Perplex. I think I said he didn't seem that great in sealed. He's got a lot more legs, I think, in constructed, and point denial and constructed is way stronger than a lot of other formats. And so I think the Jackal has a silent place on a team that's in the future post-cut world, but could also see himself played in a limited format just to add the Outwit and Perplex. So we'll see how he does in that. Next up, Anaconda. She's got the sneak attack trait. Her next trait is a twisted tangle of lengthening limbs. Anaconda can use plasticity and giant reach 2. Opposing characters within 2 squares and line of fire treat Anaconda as though she were adjacent for movement purposes, so she can stop characters 2 squares away. Anaconda can ignore walls when making a close combat attack. She is 60 points, 0 range, but I cannot believe that this is a 60-point dial. And that's really what I want to say about that. This is a character who's she's going to make a lot of disruption movements in the limited formats, the resourceless formats. And one of the big things about her is how she's going to disrupt movement and the way that she works with it. As well, she comes in and Paisley 60 points, which isn't a lot of points to put into her. And she comes with the Sinister Syndicate, Serpent Society, Femazons, and Brute keywords. So look for her, and if you see her, keep your distance. But I can see her potential in the limited constructed formats. Next up, Storm and Norman Osborn. And this is one of the few guys I would ever actually have the common Green Goblin on a team for. I'm going to call Norman a pretty casual player, though, or pretty casual character. He's still wearing the mask underneath. At the beginning of the game, you may place a character named Green Goblin from your sideline on this card on any click and choose a power on that click. Norman Osborn can use that power this game. But with the dial that you're using those powers on is very meh. He's a very good support character with a really late dial, or with a third or a fourth click surprise. Honestly, though, I think I can see him only making noise in casual play. Not a lot of place for him in the competitive play. Next up, Overdrive. Overdrive comes in at 35 points. Sinister Syndicate team ability. Sinister Syndicate keyword. He's got his superior to the other guy's trait gives sidestep. Now, one of the tricks is you do have to make an attack, sharing the attack from Overdrive to make this work. The other trait he has is the world is my getaway vehicle. Give Overdrive a free action when he's adjacent to a standard object. Remove that object from the game and place a charged up bystander in that square if none are on the map. He has sidestep, combat reflexes, and empower. The charged up vehicle is 11 movement with sidestep, 18 defense with toughness. He's got a trait that he can only be driven by Overdrive. Now, if you don't watch the Meta Lab, you know we've been talking about this guy for a while. Even though he's only 3 clicks, his vehicle is capable of carrying 4 characters. And that's ignoring combat symbols because vehicles. So, yeah. This is a guy definitely got a place in all constructed formats for sure. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he can work out just strictly as a 35-point taxi. Mostly because of that vehicle and its speed. Getting towards the end there. Next up, the Scorpion. He's got special movement power, Scorpion suit. Scorpion can use leap, climb, and sidestep. He's got tail whip, which is damage power. Scorpion can use close combat expert and giant reach 3. And all those powers are limited to the first 3 clicks. The movement powers on the first 2. Now, he'll shock you at times because he's got a giant reach with close combat expert and sidestep that gives him a 5 square swing that can come out of nowhere if you're caught sleeping. And at only 50 points, he's pretty all right. Though I don't see his place showing up in the constructed competitive realm. He's definitely something to watch out for in your casual games at the kitchen table. Next up, we have Spider-Man. This is figure number 031 with the Avengers and Spider-Man family keywords. 4 range, 2 targets, ignores elevated terrain for movement. Call on the Spider-Verse trait, figure number 31. His real name is Miles Morales. He's got a special attack power, paralyzing Venom Strike. When Spider-Man makes a close attack, hit characters are given an action token. This action token does not deal pushing damage. He has that on his first 3 clicks. And it does, so the idea is you do 3 damage or on the first 2 clicks or 2 damage on the 3rd click and give an action token as well. Comes with sidestep. I really wish that was some form of movement attack so I can make him be more excited about this guy. But he will be a fun casual character. Not much place for him in the competitive game. And last but not least on the uncommons, one of my favorites is Mr. Hyde. He's really all about this trait. Unbridled Fury. At the beginning of your turn, if Mr. Hyde was attacked by an opposing character since your last turn, place an anger token on this card. When Mr. Hyde clears action tokens, remove an anger token for each action token being removed from him. If there is an anger token on this card, Mr. Hyde can use sidestep and modifies attack and damage values by +1 for each anger token. It is a very reasonably sized dial at 100 points, and a character that does definitely support careless play. Unfortunately, he also got the Master of Evil team ability, so keep pushing him by all means. But unfortunately, careless play doesn't fit into the competitive format too well, and I don't see where he fits into the grander scale of it. Though I could be wrong in the post-cut world, and we could see him rock the limited format pretty hard. Outside of that, though, he's going to be good in the casual play, and your opponent is going to get frustrated trying to take him down. So that's the uncommon slot, and we're gonna move on to the rares, and we're really looking forward to getting through this for you guys. Married with Clix is brought to you in part by MajesticCCG.com. Check out the new premium site with MajesticCCG.com/Apex-Insiders. Check the link below. Trust me. Trying to remember that from me talking? Not going to help. You'll get awesome articles at $3 a month, with the first month being free, from amazing writers such as Paris Gordon, Easton Brock, Aaron Cantu. I'm even going to be contributing occasionally. And if you're familiar with the Meta Lab, check out some of Mike Payne's articles. So check it out again, majesticccg.com/apex-insiders for your look into the minds of some of the greats.